When creating this channel, I had in mind that my takes on anime wasn't the best. I pretended to talk about the great anime of the season and tell what was good and bad about them. But mostly my objective was to say what else was worth to talk about in the rest of the season. Something that might not be great, but certainly having something that can be praised and you could check it out. Especially since I was into Isekai, a genre of few highs and abysmal lows. When I say there were no good Isekai last season, I mean it. Arifureta is shit and only worth to be pointed out and left from it. This hero has no production value, just like Genius Prince, which is not an Isekai, my bad. Generic Sage one isn't even worth to be talked about. And same can be said about the two others that basically had the same premise, and guess what? They look shit. If you are in a season with Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan and Dress Darling, there is no reason to watch any of these shows that I mentioned, and that was it. Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan, 800k followers. Dress Darling, which is a new one, 600k. Arifureta, not even 250k. Don't get me wrong, that's quite a number, but as I said, not great. And that was the biggest Isekai, which appealed for the edgy teenagers as much as it could, and was still shit. Imagine if they at least put the effort to make something worth to watch. I mean, the story might still be trash, but hey, at least the animation and music wouldn't be also laughable. However, I knew that a bad season wasn't something that happened from now and then. When you have an overflow of generic terrible stories of people being transported into another world, especially in anime, this was bound to happen. But what about this one? All of it sucks again. My channel has less than a year, which is quite young, but even then, from all my videos, till this point, 7 could be considered Isekai reviews. From 18 videos, I'm clearly setting the bar low when it is about my trash taste. But honestly, even I can't stand consuming this disgusting garbage every season, and thank God I love some salad. So about the trash from this season, the Sage anime from the last season, guess what, is back for its gajillion spiritual sequel. I'm starting to think they could do an Isekai cinematic universe of all the trash Isekai, from the premise of an overpowered male teenager who gets a harem in another world. It will be at least laughable, but as again, it's garbage. And that was really disappointing. Like, from the start of the show we get a R scene that was made from no other reason than showing us an overpowered undead and boobies. This is not a good way to do an art scene, by the way, but made me thought that this would be the inspiration from Overlord that I was expecting to happen at any time. Like, he's not the great evil guy, he's working his bones to achieve that first. The underdog. That would be such a good name. Turns out that even with that start, the anime is goofy, which can be fun, don't get me wrong, but why the f did you start the anime with that? So somehow they made it the bar lower than I was expecting. Don't just dodge it. Shield Hero Season 2 had a slip. The animation is certainly not good as the first season. The story arc doesn't seem that interesting to progress the story. It may build some characters, but by that I mean this girl that was introduced clearly in the last minutes in the last episode of the first season, and some that was also shown only at the start of this one. However, this still feels like a filler arc. The OST is still good. I mean the music, not the character. I'm not a fan of jazz in the fight scenes in the first season, but I have to admit that they were impressive. In the second episode, it had one that was quite good. My expectations are still low, but I hope that this anime proves me wrong. I'm not watching Hozuki, I'm already a season behind. It is good and I know it, however it's too late for me, sorry for this one. Oh, I'm also not watching Otome Game, but this one because it sucks for real. That's it. Alright, this is more like a reverse Isekai, but I still count. So first one is Yaboy Koumei. I just told you that I like soundtrack in anime, right? Well, this one is literally a show about music. The animation is decent and I like that the main character sings in respectful English accent, not the heavy one. English, I think that is what it's called. I have my doubts about Koumei. When thinking about Genius, that is a strategist from 2000 years ago, I could understand that he would have some problems speaking, but why he refuses to change his strange outfit? It was interesting to see in the first episode because it was Halloween and everyone had costumes, but now he just looks like a weirdo that the anime keeps making these excuses for wearing clothes of his time. Realist Hero had the same problem as well. That's just not immersive in my opinion. Everything else the anime does great, from story to characters and obviously music. This is probably the best isekai to watch from this season. I truly think it's worth a shot. But if action's more a thing, then the executioner and her way of life might fit you better. I know what I said about this one in my tier list video, and for that I give you my apologies. It was a mistake from my part and I misunderstood the synopsis of the anime. This is clearly way better than what I make look it be. About the show, some of you may not like the characters, although the setting seems really interesting. It may be worth giving it a try. That leaves us with fantasy anime, and just fantasy, not isekai. Yusha Yamemasu or this might be funny. It's not the best sense of humor, not the funniest characters, but the premise alone might be worth 2, maybe 3 episodes, who knows. The Dawn of the Witch reminded me that Grimoire of Zero was not good. I was watching out of boredom and was mediocre show. Guess what? This one's too, so pick your poison. Kono Healer Mendokusai is awful, just don't. And this is as low as I'm willing to dig. If you want to explore anything else, that's on you. I'm getting some well-deserved regress. Is there a good isekai this season? For someone out there, might be. Maybe one of the fantasy ones. But this season is really lacking in the isekai department, and for someone who is mostly isekai trash, I'm not watching them even if I could. Spy X Family is great and I'm loving every second of it. Kaguya-sama is back at it again with no breaks, although I miss the well-crafted and dramatic plans to make the other confess his feelings. Chicken Warrior-san and Ahara-san are respectively a wholesome romance and a funny comedy, although I'm not watching them for now. As I said before, these are not good times to check isekai, even for an isekai fan. However, that is because there are way better shows to watch this season. It is not viable to watch every single one of them. I'm not crazy. Correction, I'm not stupid. So believe me, instead of consuming this trash, it's better to getting the fresh, tasty and delicious meal. They are the good ones of this season, just like the last one.